Hello everyone, thank you for watching my video. This is ATech is here. So today our topic will be the configuration management with the Ansible. And sorry, I don't have the slide or the PowerPoint for this one since I didn't get the time for this one. So that's why I'm trying to show you guys. So let's talk about the Ansible. So the configuration management with Ansible, this is known as the we'll be using the Ansible, and as you know, the Ansible is open source tool to automate the setup, management, and the maintenance of the IT infrastructure. So this is just to make sure that the system are the configure constantly and efficiently without we have to do manual intervention. So with the Ansible, we can define desired configuration like installing the software, setting up the user, or configuring the service in a simple text file called the playbook. And the Ansible, this is apply this configuration across the multiple server and make sure just to they match their desired state. And this is the agentless, meaning you don't have to install anything on the target system, just SSH access is required. And by using the Ansible, it help us save time, reduce the human error, and ensure the consistency, making it ideal for managing the both simple setup and the large scale infrastructure. So moving on, we're gonna be go and do some hands-on. For that, let's dive into the hands-on practice. So this is our AWS dashboard. So what I do is first I'll be choosing the North Virginia US East 1 region since I'm the closest to this region. And we'll be creating the one of the EC2 instance. So before making that, let me check if I have any default VPCs created. If not, I have to make one. So you can see I don't have it, so just make one default VPC. So it's created. So let me refresh the page. So it should be pop up. Our PPC is created. Yes, as you can see, the BPC is created. So let's just give this name as a Ansible. And the ML will be Ubuntu. Few micro should be good. And key pair I'll be using the existing one, which will be the test.m. If you don't have it, you can create a new one. And we'll be choosing the network setting. And here will be do all traffic. And source type will be anywhere. And everything should be good. Let me click on the launch instance. And if I go to instance, you can see our instance is created. So let me click on and get the public IP address, and we have to run this instance. So we'll be using the mobile strum to run our server. So SSH, Ubuntu, advanced SSH, private key, and key will be the test.pam. Okay. So as you can see, I'm inside this our server. So first thing you have to do, you have to update the dependency. For that, do sudo apt update. And next thing we have to use this command to install the software properties. The common, so this one we needed because it provides the tools to add new software like PPAS. Without it, we cannot add any Ansible repository to install the latest version of Ansible. So click on it. Okay. Yes. Now let me clear. So now I have to paste this one. So this will be at the repository for the Ansible. Okay, this is done. Now I have to install the Ansible. So for that, do sudo apt install Ansible. So while creating this one, we have to go back for the AWS. We have to authenticate the our we'll configure our user to authenticate the user. So for that, we need the yeah, I am a user. So for that, let me create a one. So we can do as Ansible. Next, attach policy directly, and we'll be choosing the admission access. Next, create user. Okay, then we go to the security credential, create access key. It will be the AWS CLI confirmation check. This is optional. So create user. So now we have the access key. So you can see our Ansible is still installing. So we have to wait until this one done. So our Ansible is installed. To check, you can do just type Ansible and it will be showing. So it is running. So what I do for the AWS, I need to download the unzip file since our AWS is a zip file. So for that, do sudo apt install unzip. Okay, so this is done. The next thing we have to do is install the AWS CLI. So this is the command for that one. And if I do the AWS S3 LS, you can not this one, sorry. So AWS S3 LS, you can see I'm getting the arrow to authenticate the credential. So for that, we have to configure AWS configure, and now we have to give the access key. So this is the access key, and this is the secret access key. And the default region will be the US East 1, and output will be JSON. Okay, so if I do the AWS S3 LS now, you can see I'm not getting any error. So our AWS is a configure, and we have to remove all remove these. So for the limit rm minus rs AWS and the AWS CLI v2 zip. So if I do ls, you can see we don't have any files. So Now we have to create a directory called AWS. So for that, do make a AWS. If I do ls, you have the AWS right now. So let me go to the cd AWS. Okay, now we're gonna set this AWS. So now we have to install the Bodo 3 as a prerequisite for the Ansible module. So this is for the Ansible module and search for the EC2 So this is the command for that one. And now inside this AW directory, we have to create a key pair Ansible for playbook file called the key pair YML. Okay. So inside this one, we have to use this command, so which is this one. There is a local host, local, create a sequences, and key name we can give this name as Ansible key pair. So let me save and quit this one. So now to run this playbook, we have to use this command Ansible playbook key-pair.yml. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to use the so this way we can see the create key to whatever is inside. We can see this is the fingerprint and all these the exit. So if I go back to the uh, give me a second instance, and if I go to the key pair, you can see Ansible key pair is created. And now we have to go inside this key pair. So we have to see if I know log option as a true. So no log as a true. So let me just say and quit this one. Now if I do Ansible playbook, you can see. So now I don't get any log for like previously I get this one, and now I'm not getting this. So let me go back to the key pair. Now I have to add the show text output. So for that, I'll be using this command. So show text output and key out. So let me just save and quit this one now again. So you can see now I'm getting the show text output like showing here. And now we have to the next thing we have to do is save the key pair generated with the Ansible. For that, let me clear this one and go back to the key. And here we'll be adding this one. Save and quit. And now if I go back and delete this one, Ansible, so we run this one again. So you can see the tags are the pass, and now we can go back, and if I refresh, you can see it's created again. And if I do ls now, so you can see our key pair is showing. And if I do the cat my key pair pam, so now now we can try the Ansible playbook again. So for that we can do the Ansible playbook key pair yml. Okay, so if I go back and see this is already exists, so what I do is delete this one again. And now, okay, so this is created again. And if I go back and refresh, it's showing here again. I do ls, now cat my key pair. Okay, so this is done. So next thing I have to do is create another EC2 instance. And we can call this name as the patient, and we can use the Ubuntu, and we can use the existing one, test.pam, and edit, and then all traffic in here is good. GB 20. Launch instance. And now if I go back and then Bayesian and copy the public IP address, and here I can SSH to the new one, and then Ubuntu test.pam. Okay, so you can see now I'm inside this Bayesian host now. So let me update the dependency, sudo apt update. After that, we can install the software property command on Ubuntu. And then we'll be adding the Ansible PPA repository on the Ubuntu. And then we'll be adding the install the Ansible. So now if I do the Ansible, it will show like our Ansible is installed. Next we have to do the AWS CLI configure. For that, I have to install the unzip, since our AWS CLI downloaded file is a zip file. So for that, sudo apt install unzip, and now I have to install the zip file for the AWS CLI. And now I have to go get the access key for the AWS CLI. But if I do the AWS S3LS, you can see how to authenticate. So for that, I can do the AWS configure and then get the access key and then secret access key, US East 1. Okay, AWS configure. Oh, made a mistake. So AWS configure. So this is the access key, and then this is the secret access key, and then US East 1, and will be JSON. If I do the AWS S3 LS now, I'm not getting any error right now. So now I have to install the Boto 3 prerequisite for the Ansible module. So this is the command for that one. And now we have to do configure the VPC, and we have to be choosing using this command for the creating the VPC. So it will be creating the EC2 BPP for the public subnet, private subnet. So and the call the VPC name Ansible VPC. So let me save and quit, and then we'll be choosing this comment, and it will be creating the VPC. Let me see resources. Let me check what should be adding next. Okay, so if I go back and if I go to the BPC, I will see there is a new BPC created called the Ansible BPC. Ansible BPC is created. And let me go back to the BPC. So okay, now let me save and quit this one. Then we'll be using this command to run the BPC. Okay, we are getting some issue in BPC. Why man? Let me check what the issue is. Okay, this one, and lastly this one. It's getting the same error being VPC. So what I do is remove this. So I think there should be any spacing issue. That's why I'm getting this type of error. So let me copy the code again just to make sure I'm not getting any error for this one. Okay, now copy and paste. Okay, I think this should be good now. So if I do Ansible, okay, now it's working. So it will take a little bit of time to get in this. So we have to wait until this one completed. So you can see, so this is done. So to check this one, we can go back to our VPC. It's created, so I can get the route table. I mean, this one, subnet is created. And if I go to the internet gateway, you can see, so this is attached. And if I go to our security group, you can see the security group is of Ansible BPC security group is also showing. Okay, let me go back and now we have to make one of the directory for mkdir roles. And if I do ls, you can see it's created. So let me go to the 3D roles. And now I have to make the another directory called the front end and back. So this is created. So if I do ls, you can see, so those front end and back end is created. And I have to make another one, make a directory BPC. And now I have to go inside the BPC and make another directory or tasks. If I do ls, it's created. I have to go inside the tasks and you have to move the BPC YML into our tasks. So for that, I'll be copy this command. And now if I do the payment YML, so you can see everything is copied from BPC to here. Okay, I'm just checking some things so everything is accurate. And then so what I do is let me go back. So here I remove this part, save and quit. And then if I go back to the CD, okay, I'm in the home. So if I do the bin book.yml, and we copy and paste this one. Now save and quit. And if I do the run this playbook, you said the playbook yml could not be found. So I think let me check one thing. Oh, I made the mistake. Okay, bin playbook.yml. Save and quit. Now if I run this playbook, it will be triggered, I think. Yep. Now I have to go to the goes front end and make a directory text cd bugs. And if I do the bin main.yml, inside the main, we have to inside this following code. Mm, So let me go back and check. VPC. Okay. main.yml, and here I'll be using this command. Okay, Beam playbook is already done. Motion. So here I'll be adding this one. So you can quit this one. Now if I go back to the home directory and let me do the YML content. Okay. And let me go to the CD roles, CD content, the CD text, then beam main YML. Okay, so the so we say Okay, I go to the key EC2 and then if I choose the key pair, which is here, so Ansible key pair, Ansible, Ansible key pair. So let me now save and quit and cd home directory. Oh, so now this is work. Content, VPC, public, oh, VPC, publication, article. Directly. So the mapping bell were not the intensity Ubuntu 9.2.14. Okay, 9.2. So let me check one thing. So I think I found the issue. The issue was, let me show you guys. So if I do the cd roles, cd frontend, cd tags, ls, so beam main YML. So here I have to change the image ID. So this is the one where you have to be as a developer, you have to um, debug your issue and find the issue. So for to fix that, I have to go back and click on the instance. If I click on launch instance, so here in the Ubuntu, I will get the AMI for the ID. So let me get the AMI ID. So copy this one. So let me go back. So here I have to change this image ID. So this should be fix my problem. And let me, if I go here again, and if I do the, I'm getting the same issue. Problem. So let me go back to the rows again, cd content, cd tasks, game and YML. And then, oh, so that's the problem I was getting. So this is the outdated one. So let me save and quit now. So it should be fixed now. And then cd content, cd tasks, bin, main, YML. So why? Okay, now it's fixed. So the issue was the spacing. So we have to make sure we have give the proper space. So this is created. So if I now go back to the instance and click on the key pair, I should see a new key pair. Where is the key pair? Yeah, here. You can see the Ansible key pair 2 is created, and that's for the front end. So let me clear this one. Okay, now I have to copy CPR, the tux, backend, CPR, tux, backend. Okay. Oops, sorry. Let me go to the CD roles, CD front end. Okay, now if I do CPR, tux, backend, and now if I do the backend, And now if I do ls, you can see that task is showing. Now if I do the tasks, and now it's showing the beam, then YML. So let me see what's the new thing is here now. Okay. Let me save and quit now. They should be good. So if I go to the CD in the home directory, I am being playbook and adding the backend now. Save and quit. And now if I do the here now it's creating. You can see the backend is showing here now. Now we have to make a one directory called the infra deployment, and we can here mb playbook .yml roles infra, and I can do mb Ansible p.pm deployment. And now if I do the this one, the telnet, let me check one thing, what to do next. Okay, so I think we have to go to the, if I go to the instance, you can see um, Oh, our backend is not created. That's the issue I was getting. So what I do is let me go back to the CD. So I think I did some of the problem here. So let me go back and fix it. Okay. Now this is the big challenging now. Let me do one thing. So what I do is remove everything again. So let me just copy and paste from the beginning and see if this fixes the issue. Mhm. Paste. And what did I copy? Let me save and quit this one. If I do cd, So it should be creating the backend again. So if I go back to the instance, I should see you can see the backend is also running. And now if I go to the net gateway, for example, where is the net gateway? So this will be in the VPC, and that's the net gateway. And here is a peer connection, and create a new peer connection. I can give this name as a Ansible VPC peering, and we can choose the VPC. You can see the CDR is associate, and here we can choose the Ansible VPC. So everything should good, create pairing. And here I will be accept the request, accept. And now if I go to the route table, we can see the so internet gateway, this one we can is attach, accept, okay, and the route table. That so we can see the I'm going to the route table. So here and edit route table. Okay, now if I go back and click on the public route table, edit route, add a route, 17, 1. Okay, then route table. So there should be. And then route table. Okay, And now if I go to the route table, I should see another public route table. So this one has no, and then add a route table. 16, then peer correction, sequence, 16, peer connection, save. So I think all of them is configured. So what I do is let me go to the next one and let me try to telnet. I think so being the host, check one thing. Even quit and then being dot cfp wait mouse and we'll be using this command to clone the project. So let me save and quit. Now if I do the cd dot bin playbook .yml, and here I have to type save and quit, and cd roles, and cd content, cd docs, like a directory files, cd files, bin setup proxy.js, and here I'll be choosing this command. Save and quit. cd beam main dot yml. Save and quit. Now let me cd So let me check one thing. So let me just do one thing. Let me go back to the so after the had a problem with the pairing connection, so I fixed it. So even now if I do the telnet, and now you can see I'm getting the connected to the our the public IP. So next thing you have to do is have to go to the CD, then the deployment, and then deployment we have to create a one of the beam host. So inside the host we use this command, and here we have to change the front end IP private IP address and the backend IP address. So I just go to the backend and copy the private IP address and paste it here. Now doing the same thing for the front end as well. Now have to beam enable dot cfg. So here this one basically we have to so you have to say like the host tagging is false, inventory is a host. And now I'm going to make another directory called the roles. So inside the rows, I'm going to insert the rows. And now I have to make a directory for the front end. And making another one for the back end. Now I'm going inside this backend tasks. Now I have to configure the backend OML, and inside you have to clone the project for about 2-tier application. So it will be install the package. Like since our backend is Python, and the full path is given here. Now I'm going inside this. I'm going back to the home, the rows. Now I'm going back to the deployment. And now I'm making one of the playbook. And inside the playbook, I'm seeing the host for the front end and the back end. Now if I'm going to the CD front end, the rows front end and the tags, and I'm gonna make one directory called the files. And inside the file, I'll like go inside the files and make one of the setup proxy.js. Since our front end is on the JSON, and now I'm copying the IP address for the backend. So our setup proxy.js is set up. Now going back, and here I'll be configure, I mean the beam main.yml, and configure all the everything what I need to do, install the npm and npm node.js. It will copy all the configuration from the setup proxy. So this is the source that its location, and the destination will be here. Now save and quit. Now I'll be go back to the playbook, and now I'll do the Ansible playbook and playbook.yml. Basically run the YML. So now it will be doing all the setup for the front end and back end. So now if I go, I have to wait until this one done. So as you can see, this is creating the virtual environment for the backend. So you have to wait until this is done. You can see this is done now. So now the next thing I have to do is go back to our browser and get the backend IP address. And if I crawl it with the 5000 port, you can see I'm getting the hello world Ubuntu and the front end. If I copy the front end and with the 3000 port, so you can see our front end is running and our front end and back end is also working. So this is how we do this configuration for the Ansible. Thank you guys. So this is the video for this Ansible. So if you guys have any question, please reach out to me. Also, please subscribe my channel. Also, like and share this video. If you need any of the code, just ping me or send me email. So I'll reach out to you guys. Thank you guys. Have a good day.